The WWE landscape has changed dramatically since the release of 2K24, with there being many main roster returns and debuts since then. That means that when 2K24 finally drops, we're going to see a number of additions to the in-game roster. But which names will make the cut? Well, let's take a look at my predictions for every main roster superstar that will be added to WWE 2K24 that weren't in 2K23. And be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on and drop a like on this video to help give it a kick into the YouTube algorithm. CM Punk's absence from WWE 2K23 and his highly anticipated inclusion in WWE 2K24 are easy to explain. At the time of 2K23's development and release, CM Punk was a prominent figure in All Elite Wrestling, albeit amid a controversial hiatus following the events of All Out 2023. His affiliation with AEW and his absence from WWE programming naturally excluded him from being part of the game. However, the situation would change dramatically with Punk's unexpected return to WWE at Survivor Series on November 6, 2023. This surprise comeback following his controversial exit from AEW opened the door for his reintroduction into the WWE gaming universe. Given that his return occurred after the development cycle for WWE 2K24 had likely concluded, or at least close to it, it's anticipated that Punk will be included, but this is downloadable content. With that said, 2K could be tempted to go all out to ensure that the Second City Saint makes it onto the Day 1 list, and they would be smart to do so. CM Punk's last appearance in a WWE video game was in 2K15, making 2K24 potentially his first WWE game appearance in almost 10 years. In the interim, he has appeared in other video games, notably AEW Fight Forever, as well as UFC 2, 3, and 4, reflecting his tenure outside of the company. The return of CM Punk to the WWE 2K series in 2K24 is not just a reflection of his WWE comeback, but also symbolizes a full circle moment in his career. Chelsea Green was released from WWE in April 2021, a decision that significantly impacted her presence in the 2K gaming franchise. During the key development period for WWE 2K23, she was not part of the WWE roster, having pursued her wrestling career elsewhere after being released. This absence from the company naturally led to any plans of her potentially being on the roster being scrapped. However, Green's return to WWE at the Royal Rumble event in January 2023 marked a pivotal moment in her career, and although this return was significant in terms of television, it occurred too late for her to be included in the previous game. Looking ahead to WWE 2K24, Chelsea's situation has changed a bunch, as since her return, she's established herself as a regular member of the Raw brand, with this placing her in a strong position to be included in the upcoming game. Her regular appearances on Raw not only enhance her visibility and relevance within the WWE universe, but also increase the likelihood of her character being a part of the roster. Dragon Lee's potential debut in WWE 2K24 is a big deal, as it would showcase his rapid rise in WWE in such a short space of time. He wasn't in WWE 2K23 due to timing, as he was still signed with Lucha Libre AAA in Mexico during most of its development. He only joined WWE in December 2022 and debuted on NXT television in April 2023, which was around the same time WWE 2K23 came out. This meant he missed the cut by a good few months. But things are looking up for WWE 2K24. Since joining WWE, Dragon Lee has made waves in NXT and has even been called up to the main roster. He's quickly becoming a fan favorite and is tipped to be WWE's next big masked luchador, this making him a likely and exciting addition to the WWE 2K24 roster. If he makes it, it'll be his first time in a video game full stop, and he's no doubt set to become one of the most fun characters to play as for the upcoming game cycle, and hopefully for many more years to come. Kairi Sane is another name that didn't make the cut in WWE 2K23. At the time of release, Kairi was a fixture of Japanese wrestling as the top star in Stardom, before going on to become the first ever IWGP Women's Champion in New Japan Pro-Wrestling. In 2023, Sane would eventually pivot back to her former employer WWE, a place she exited in December 2021. She did announce free agency in March 2023, and by August, there were reports of her re-signing with of WWE, and her return finally happened in November. She made an impact by joining the Damage Control stable, aiding Io Sky in retaining the WWE Women's Championship. There's a chance Sane will be included in WWE 2K24's initial roster. That's if 2K began to add her to the game when she signed her deal in August, although her actual return didn't happen until a few months later, which may have pushed her back into DLC territory. Sane's last video game appearance was in WWE 2K20, with 2K24 potentially set to be her third ever WWE game on her resume. Nia Jax's WWE journey has been a bit of a seesaw over recent years, and it's reflected in her gaming presence too. She wasn't in WWE 2K23 because, well, she was released from the company a year prior. But then out of nowhere, she returned at the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble, coming in at number 30, but this happened just a little too late. Whilst it would appear that this was a one-off appearance, it was more like a hint of what was to come. Fast forward to September 11, 2023, and she was back on Raw, making waves by attacking Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley. This comeback, even though it was late in WWE 2K24's development cycle, opens up the chance that she's included in the game. Lucky for her, 2K already have her character model from WWE 2K22, so adding her to 2K24 might not be that big of a stretch. This makes it pretty likely that we'll see her in the game in some capacity, maybe in the main roster or as a downloadable character. Bronson Reed is somebody that's come close to making their video game debut in the past, although a last-minute release from WWE would see him pulled from the roster. Shortly before the release of 2K22, Reed would be let go from WWE, causing him to be removed from the game, although his model was later found in the files, albeit inaccessible without mods. He's since had runs in both Impact Wrestling and New Japan Pro-Wrestling, this before WWE rehired him in December 2022, just about missing the cutoff date for 2K23. His return boosts his chances of being in WWE 2K24, with there being plenty of time to include the already scanned superstar. Carlito is another star that's almost certainly set to make his return to WWE games. After leaving WWE in May 2010, he spent a long time on the independent circuit, which is of course why he wasn't in any games for a long time. He did pop up briefly at the 2021 Royal Rumble, but that wasn't enough to get him back in the series, as it was seen as a one-off. Fast forward to 2023 and things start to look up for Carlito. He made a splash at Backlash on May 6, getting involved in the San Juan street fight, linking up with Latino World Order. He would help Bad Bunny pick up a win against Damian Priest, although again this felt like a one-off in his home territory of Puerto Rico. Then on October 7 at Fastlane, he returned again, since becoming a full-time member of both the SmackDown roster and the LWO. With these developments, it's likely we'll see Carlito in WWE 2K24, ending a near 10-year drought of no video game appearances. The last time he was in a WWE game was SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, so getting into 2K24 would be pretty cool, to say the least. Odyssey Jones is another potential debutant in WWE 2K24, albeit probably the most unlikely of this list, due to his lack of television time as of late. The powerhouse made an impact in 2021, bulldozing his way to the finals of the NXT Breakout Tournament, signaling WWE's big plans for him. But as fate would have it, an injury sidelined him, putting a pause on his push and keeping him out of the ring and off the 2K23 roster, despite a triumphant return to NXT in late 2022. Fast forward to 2023 and the tide could be turning for him. After being drafted to the Raw brand, he's wrestled mostly non-television matches, although there's a chance that his inclusion in the draft was enough for 2K to include him. The versatile big man would be a fun wrestler to play as in 2K24, in what would be his video game debut. Whilst Isla Dawn has been a part of the WWE family for a while, her tenure in NXT UK had her flying under the radar, especially when it came to consideration for the video games, this despite there having been 4 mainline releases since her debut. However, post WWE 2K23's release, Dawn's WWE journey took an upward swing. She moved to the main NXT before receiving a call up to Raw, a major leap that significantly amped up her visibility in the WWE universe. This increased exposure and involvement in storylines has propelled her into the spotlight, making her a prime candidate for WWE 2K24, with a likely set to join fellow former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion Alba Fire on the in-game roster. Maxine Dupri is another debutant that could be a hot prospect for WWE 2K24. When 2K23 was in the works, Dupri had just stepped into the WWE main roster spotlight in July 2022. As the leader of Maximum Male Models, she definitely turned some heads, but her role wasn't quite enough to secure a spot in the game, despite her clients Marseille and Mansoir being DLC additions. Fast-tracked to the development phase of WWE 2K24, and the narrative around Dupri has taken a significant turn. She's no longer just a manager on the sidelines, but she stepped into the ring, showcasing her wrestling chops. Her involvement with the Alpha Academy has seen her get a ton of television time that will likely translate to being added to 2K24 either as a manager or potentially as an active wrestler. This will of course be her video game debut, which would come less than 2 years after signing with WWE. Tegan Nox's absence from WWE 2K23 wasn't just a roster omission, it was a direct result of her release from WWE in November 2021, which came way before the game's development period, although she still managed to make the cut for 2K22 the prior year. Fast forward to December 2022, when Nox would become one of the many Triple H rehirings of released talent, making her a candidate to secure a spot in 2K24. Now drafted to the Raw brand, Nox has been a regular member of the women's division during the game's development. Jade Cargill's journey from AEW to WWE was one of the most talked about stories of 2023, and it has major implications for WWE 2K24. Back when 2K23 hit the shelves, Cargill was ruling the roost over in AEW as the TBS champion. Obviously, being a headliner in a rival promotion meant no cameo in a WWE game. Skip ahead to September 2023, and it's a whole new ballgame. While she hasn't graced the WWE ring just yet, the company did everything they could to boast their newest addition without her having to wrestle a match. So what does this mean for WWE 2K24? Well, it looks pretty likely that Cargill will make her debut in the virtual WWE universe. Her high-profile switch from AEW plus the hype on WWE programming positions her perfectly for a spot in the upcoming game. She hasn't wrestled a match in WWE yet, but her star power alone could see her added as a special surprise or a DLC character. After showcasing her skills in AEW Fight Forever, appearing in 2K24 would see her make her WWE video game debut, potentially adding her to the list of names that appeared in both games, alongside Cody Rhodes and maybe CM Punk. And before you go, make sure you check out every wrestler that I think will be removed from WWE 2K24.